And I'm gonna use this to like segue into Superman's camera work and like just how it looks.
Okay.
My take on a lot of it is that, especially the flying, James seems to be really wanting to make certain things look practical. And him trying to make it look practical is what's making it seem weird because, especially the flying shots. Let's take Adam Warlock from Guardians 3. You've never watched Guardians 3. I'm sorry, Mano. But
Nope.
I don't
I've
know if you've
seen
ever
clips.
seen like, yeah, have you seen the clip where Adam's like flying to nowhere?
Um, is it the clip of him flying to nowhere? I've seen the meme version of them like zooming in on his face with the music is playing.
There's that also looks jarring. But there's one where he's flying in space, going to like the Guardians base to like start the plot, basically. Hurt
Okay.
Rocket.
Yeah, yeah.
So in that scene, you can see that he's on, like you can tell he's on a wire with
Mm-hmm.
effects around him, and there's a green screen of him in space. Like you can tell. That's how practical it is, and it's especially for me, it's weird to see that, you know. Because if I look at someone like Iron Man, when he's floating in the air in the movie, I'm like, that looks cool. That looks cool.
I mean, when we're looking at Iron Man, at least that one I can comment on. Adam Warlock, not as much, except for that one of him where the music is playing and they zoom into his face, and I'm like, that looks so goofy. But like the Iron Man one, I feel like there's a lot of attention and care put into the fact that, for example, his flight is not actually stable. Almost dropped my controller there. His flight is not
My
actually
bad.
stable, right? Like it's rocket propelled, right? So he doesn't have that
Yeah,
kind of,
jerky.
like, yeah, like there's a lot of like movement, and there's like almost an attempt to show like the vibration in his body as he's floating and stuff like that, just really
Mm.
showcase really bringing it to life, I suppose, that this guy is wearing a suit of armor, and the suit of armor has this balancing systems, because like even the flaps on the back and stuff, they like open and close at certain intervals to try
Oh
and
yeah.
assist in balancing. All those things, they feel really nice to look at. It's really crispy as well, right?
Mm.
Compared to the barrel roll, for example, is like, man, I don't know. It feels and looks weird. Like I can't put my finger on it exactly, but I don't think that that's the immediate reaction you want from someone when they see something like this. Right? You
Mm.
obviously want to inspire some sense of awe, some sense of, man, that looks nice, right?
Yes,
Or
yes,
man,
yes.
he's just enjoying a flight right now, And
Right.
I kind of think back to that teaser trailer of Fantastic Four when we're seeing Johnny in space, right?
Mm, mm,
It,
mm,
it-
mm,
like
mm.
that moment, where he's just like, I believe he's reaching out or something to that
Yeah,
effect.
yeah.
Like, like
He flames off and he just stands there floating as it drops back into the atmosphere.
exactly, like that moment feels almost like you can at least feel Johnny in that moment, right? It's like he wants to go further, he just can't, right?
Oh
Right?
man, yeah. You said it, man.
Like,
You said it.
but you come back to Superman when it's like it's even difficult to read what exactly his expression is.
Just there, like deadpan.
Like it's almost like you can see that there's like a smile playing at his lips a little bit, right? Like
Right.
he's somewhat satisfied with himself, but it's almost like is it the kind of satisfaction of, I knew I could do this, or is it the satisfaction of just like, yeah, I'm just him, like what's going on, like what am I supposed to draw from this, like just in the trailer alone, like I'm that's why I use Johnny as the example. You could at least pull something there, right? Yeah, it not only doesn't look so lacquer, right? For those who
Yeah.
are not South African, lacquer's good. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
but it's also just it doesn't inspire that awe that you want. Like look at
Right.
Man of Steel. Like Man of
Right.
Steel, there's at least a clear progress, right? He
I wanted
begins,
to
he's not as
Sorry to
confident.
cut you off. I wanted to
Go ahead,
ask
go
you,
ahead.
like comparing that little that you saw, it might be unfair. Comparing the
Yeah,
little that you saw
definitely.
from like Superman is flying and Man of
Hmm.
Steel. What is the and just to be clear, we're not Snyder shows. You know,
Yeah, yeah. No,
just wanna know Mano's
yo,
take, like
yo,
can you compare the two and
go
what is
watch
his
the Rebel Moon video.
go check it out, guys.
Um, I think like I was saying, right? Like in Man of Steel, I don't like the obvious reverence that they have for him immediately, because I think the shot opens with him standing on the snow, cape billowing in the wind, and the
Oh
sunlight
yeah.
just catching him with the god rays. It's like, stop this, bruh. Stop
And him
this.
looking at his hands, because
Yeah.
he's gotta do that.
But like the wind up, and like again this whole build from him being not as confident, but then the speech from Joel in the
Oh
background, if I'm
my!
not
I'm not gonna
mistaken.
lie. It does hit. Oh God, it does hit.
All of that is just like, yeah, you got it, right? You got
It
it.
does
It
hit.
also makes me harken back to that scene in Superman Returns, right? Where he's
Woo! I
also
love
doing
that
the first
movie.
kind of like hopping through the fields and stuff. Like all of that, I feel this movie might do as well, right? That's why I'm saying it's,
Mm.
yeah, definitely it isn't fair. But when you're comparing those scenes, when he is smiling, Henry Cavill's Clark is proud of himself. He's
He's
happy that he's
laughing.
flying.
He's
Exactly.
laughing. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's one of those rare moments that he's actually allowed to emote, because that's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't do with Superman in more modern instances. He really isn't allowed to emote very often.
Ah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
even
Like
in the
show.
animation, what do you do? Like he's just not allowed to emote anymore.
He's just supposed to be like a literal Man of Steel. Like it just doesn't feel anything.
Yeah,
You
like
know.
he's just stoicism nowadays. And I
Exactly.
would really like to see him. Like I remember some of the like images of the comic panels of him smiling, and he's got that smile that like closes his eyes and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like bro, he's like smiling from ear to ear type beat. Like I
Like he's
remember
just
stuff like that.
a
Yeah, or like his expressions of shock. Like I remember those shocked Superman faces. But it's just
ah
like you don't
yeah.
really get that much. And it's really unfortunate. But yeah, harkening back to what you were saying, right?
Right.
Going now to Adam Warlock and the comparison to this, like could you just like I guess break it down for me in your perspective? Where do you think the similarities are? And I guess why do you think that might be what's hindering this flight scene?
Like comparing the Adam Warlock scene to this scene.
Yeah. Because you were saying now that like they're similar to one another in like the
Cause like
practicality and the
yeah,
CGI and stuff.
cause and look, I just want to put it out there. I'm not attacking the cinematography. Henry Braham, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. He seems to have this type of jerky style of filming. He did also do cinematography for The Flash. It seems, and James likes practical stuff. It goes
Hmm.
well together. It looks, you can tell that they try to make this look real. You can tell that there's a wire, you can tell that there's a background, and it looks weird. Where you look at maybe Man of Steel or like Iron Man, or maybe even who else flies in the MCU, Ultron, like you can kind of tell that they're trying to mystify it in a certain way. It looks
Hmm.
like someone is
Flight scene
flying.
that's also not very well appreciated, I think, is, and it's because it's not actually often very prolonged, but Thor's flight scenes are also pretty good. Like the feeling of the physics, right? When he's like winding up the hammer and then just launches away, like the way that
Oh,
he
I feel
flies
it. Yeah.
feels like it makes sense, right? Like he's being dragged by the hammer to the location that he's going to.
Yeah, yeah, like you can even hear that. I think that spin, then it goes boom, and it just goes.
Yeah, that whoomp, and then he's just
It's gone.
so I think
So
it's
so
not
stuff like that.
as appreciated, but I think it's deliberately made to look that way.
Even when Falcon takes off, and he's like just going in the air,
I mean,
it
Falcon's fight scenes
looks
are pretty satisfying to look at,
it's amazing. They're amazing. They're so good.
and I think
Um,
they do. I don't know if I want to say this because it breaks my heart to say it, but I think they do the depiction of his speed more satisfyingly than they do with Tony.
yeah,
Because like I
yeah,
feel like for Tony, the only way that you really, especially before like the nanotech armor and stuff, the only way that you got an indication that he's going faster is him being like Jarvis reroute to thrusters, and then you hear the and he kind of does that jerky
yeah.
motion with his body. The charge up that people do for some
Yes,
reason. Like
yeah.
he scrunches up his body a little bit and then he shoots straight again. Like he
It's
does
like
something
it's
like
like
that.
it's almost like in Infinity War when he was flying after Peter. It's like
Yeah.
Jarvis tried to give me a boost, and then that massive jet just came out and he just took off.
Yeah, so it's like something like that. It's like yeah, definitely it looks nice, it looks good. But for Falcon, it's because they already have that that high pitched like engine hum from when he's
Yeah,
flying,
yeah, yeah.
like that.
And also
That's just
like
a high pitched thing.
just his maneuverability. I just like seeing Falcon move in the air. Like you can see him moving. He's
Hmm.
dodging. He's weaving like he's a bird.
Yeah, and the thing that also I think really helps is that when his wings are shaped one way, and then they kind of go a little bit more lean, closer to his body, and then you see him like do a
Yeah,
dive. Like when he
yeah,
starts to
yeah,
do stuff
yeah.
like that, it's like he's going fast. Come on, he's going fast.
There's a thing.
So
There's a
yeah.
there's a thing that he does in the Brave New World movie where
Mhm.
he has to like go the other way. He's flying
Mhm.
forward, So he kind of like closes his wings. He does like
Mm-hmm.
as he somersaults while in the air, and he
Yeah, yeah.
turns and then shoots backwards. Like it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I think though that's another good example. I'm not sure. Maybe I could just ask before we go back then to the Adam Warlock comparison to Superman.
sure.
What do you think of Captain Marvel's flight scenes?
Oh, wow. Funny story. It's been a while since I've seen Captain Marvel, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been meaning to actually give the Marvels a chance one of these days.
You don't have
But
to,
I
but go
don't
ahead.
I don't have to, but trying to see want to see my go Monica Rambeau in action.
Fair
Although she's
enough.
butchered as well, apparently.
Yeah, no,
Uh
the whole movie is just
yeah.
but yeah,
So from what I remember, it is not much, but I feel like they do lots of
Captain
like
Marvel,
floating.
Endgame,
Yeah, they do lots of floating with her. I
fair,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
in terms of her
And like
propelling herself,
far away
yes.
shots as well of her like flying through things and around things.
I'm very satisfied. I'll say this. Watching
Mhm.
Captain Marvel light herself up and watching Adam Warlock light himself up, she looks better doing it. He doesn't.
You know what? I don't. You're probably right because I didn't even know until you just mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, he does have like a kind of glow about him, and I'm like looking at an
See,
image of him right now.
yeah, when he flies, he does that glow, and Captain Marvel does the same thing, but her one looks more like, and it's bright. Like you can actually, and you as a viewer, you kind of you squint. You're like, that's bright, you know.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
Adam, it's like, okay, this is CGI. Okay, it's just weird.
Okay, two more comparisons. I know I said we would move back, but two more comparisons: Vision
Well,
and
it is.
Wanda.
Oh, look, man, like Vision, when he floated, when they threw him by the window in Age of Ultron, he just
Mhm.
stopped and he floated. Godlike.
I
Godlike,
feel
bro.
like
Like he's
his flight is also kind of deliberate because I always feel like his flight is almost airy. You know,
yes, it's it's
he's
it's
being carried by
weightless.
the wind. Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
yeah, because he also does like the density shift, that makes him
yeah.
light. So like he literally is weightless. Like when he stops and he floats, when he floated to meet Ultron in the air in the battle,
Mhm.
when he landed to get Wanda in the airport battle, like he just tippy toed, like that. Yeah, he's very air. Now Wanda, you see her fly more in Wanda Vision.
Yeah.
It's
But I mean,
it's
like
as smooth as
I'm
Vision.
referring to even her gliding, right? Like when she does the gliding
The
thing,
propelling with the
soften
with
her landings and stuff.
yeah, those ones they seem pretty alright, for like the thing of like, okay, they put on a wire, she comes down, they just put the little red stuff to make it okay, she used that to cushion
Hmm,
the
hmm.
landing. It's fine, nothing too crazy about it, if you had to ask me.
Uh-huh. So then I guess similar comparison. Then do you think similarly to Strange? Because I think a lot of his is also sort of just lift with wire, descend with wire. He doesn't have a lot
Yeah.
of like chasing kind of flight scenes. He does have a few. I think he does have in the beginning of Multiverse of Madness when he leaves the wedding.
Yeah, he drops down. I liked one part of the scene where
The
the
transition.
cloak, yeah, the cloak pulls up and you can see how the cloak kind of glides him onto the streets of New York.
Hmm.
That
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah.
that worked. That, and as well as in Infinity War, whenever he comes down, you can see him, but you can tell it's a wire. You can tell it's a wire.
Yeah, yeah.
You can tell it's a wire. So it's just the thing of like James's work for Adam and for Superman looking very, even the scene where Ultraman is what they're calling him, we don't know for sure, is like
Mhm.
tackling him in the field.
Oh yeah.
That looks weird. That looks weird.
I feel like that one in particular for me, it has to be more like the camera work is betraying that actual scene. It looks awkward.
Yeah, it just that looks weird.
Like I'm not a cameraman guy. Like you, I wouldn't be able to explain to you why certain camera like techniques will work and what they even are. But that one in particular just feels to be like this looks awkward, man. Like what?
Mm,
What
mm,
is it?
mm.
I feel like I'm a guy in that particular moment. Like I'm a guy with a camera running beside them, trying to capture what's going on.
Yeah, and I
And
hope
it
it's
just
like
just just laugh at it now, right? And then find out that somebody in the comment section is like, actually, that's what they were trying to do. That was on purpose.
because everybody's a camera expert now.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody's a camera expert now.
Leave it
I
to a bunch
hope
of
it's
YouTubers to not understand cinematography.
I don't know cinematography. Of course, I don't get it, bro. Like I'm telling you what I'm seeing. I'm a viewer, you know. So I hope it's a thing for the trailer. And in the movie, they fixed that.